Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Kingsley with Evolve to Perform. This video for my friends who've literally been spinning their wheels on their Peloton, their spin bike, and their rowing machine, and all of a sudden couple that with sitting, Zoom meetings, and just Netflixing and chilling. What we start to see is that we start to see a lot of shortness and stiffness along the front of the hip, and that becomes a problem because when we go from a sitting position to a standing position, we want to go ahead and completely straighten ourselves out. We wind up with a lot of tightness and stiffness here, and that could lead to a lot of implications and stress along our lower back. So one thing that I want to show you really quickly that you can drop in for 2 or 3 minutes throughout the day is a banded hip extension mobilization to help you get that hip moving to extension a lot faster than a traditional long held stretch. So what you need is a band fairly strong, all right? So I've got a green one here, and what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna go ahead and drop my leg in, and I'm going to take that band so that it's sitting up just underneath the fold of my butt, okay? I've got a pad here. If you need a pad to cushion your knee, that's fine. But what you want to do here is when you get yourself into the bottom of the lunge shape, what you want to do is make sure that that knee is at least underneath the hip or even further behind, okay? But what you have to look for as well is that you don't want to start to compensate through your spine or lower back, which means that we don't want to see any type of arching or big fat belly pushing forward. So we want to make sure that we have our ribs stacked over our pelvis, and we have our tailbone slightly tucked underneath so that we can really, really magnify the effectiveness of this mobilization, okay? So what we have is we have a nice amount of tension of that band pulling forward, and all we're gonna do from here is we're gonna keep our glute engaged here, okay? So we wanna own that position, and then all we're gonna do is we're gonna start to just go ahead and oscillate forward towards where that band is attached. We wanna go ahead and just drive our hip forward without compensating through the back, and try to do a good job of keeping that glute flexed the entire time, all right? So all you're gonna do is you're just gonna kind of noodle and bounce in and out of these positions here and just try to open up that hip a little bit, all right? So this is one way that we do this. We go ahead and hold this, or actually just move into this position here, okay? So there's always movement and we're not hanging for about 15 to 20 kind of oscillations here, low grade movements with our knee bent. And then what we're gonna do from here then is we're gonna go ahead and just put our hand down to support us, extend that leg now so that knee's off the ground, okay? And then what we're gonna do is kind of trap that band down, and then from there, still try to get a little bit of this extension moment through our hip. So the band is pulling our hip and dragging it forward. This allows us to get into the capsule of the hip a little bit better, okay? And really get in some of those hip flexor muscles and everything that just kind of gets stiff along the front. So we're just gonna get some nice tension, oscillate back and forth, try to keep that glute engaged, try to keep that quad engaged right now, keep that knee nice and locked out. And just gonna go ahead and bounce forward towards the attachment point about 15 to 20 times, all right? So really quick and dirty, can be done in about 2 to 3 minutes. Give it a shot, let me know what you think.